Hi everybody, it's Thomas here from Thomas Fitzgerald Photography. In this video I am going to take a look at editing a Fuji file that has been processed with Iridient X-Transformer in Macphun's Luminar. So to start with, I'm actually here in Lightroom, so I've already done the conversion process, but just to show you what I did already, well, here is the RAF file. So this is the point where I started with, and then I used Iridient X-Transformer to process that into a DNG and use its demosaicing just to solve some of the detail issues. The RAF file isn't bad actually to begin with, but if you look at the DNG, you can see that the detail is actually much finer on it. So yeah, you probably can't really make this out on the video. However, that's what we're not actually going to be using this anyway. So the reason I'm going to use the DNG is I'm going to send the DNG file to Luminar rather than sending it as a TIFF. Now, if I send the RAW file, because Luminar doesn't support things like chromatic aberration correction and lens distortion, however, if I convert the file with X-Transformer, so if I just pop over to X-Transformer here, you see I have the options to apply corrections to image, so that's automatically going to bake in the lens corrections. And that way when I send it to Luminar, I don't have to worry about that anymore. And actually the quality is actually really good. So I'm going to make sure I'm on the right file here. We're at the DNG, and this is an image I shot at kind of the sun was going down over Dublin the other night, and there was a nice bit of clouds and drama going on in the scene. So I'm going to send this to Luminar. So I want to be able to send the file, so I don't want to go edit in because that will send it as a TIFF. Instead I want to go to plug in extras and transfer to Luminar. This will actually send the DNG over. Okay, so this will open up Luminar. Okay, so this has sent the file straight over as is, so it's unedited, so if you'd made any adjustments in Lightroom, it's gone because you're just sending the DNG file. Now I could have sent the edited version, but that would have just sent a TIFF, so instead this way I'm using, it's as if it's a RAW file, except what we've done is we've used X-Transformer's demosaicing, and we've also baked in the lens corrections. So that's kind of the only difference really than sending the RAW file, but the results are, in my opinion, much better by doing it this way. There are a few times when you will get some errors, but in this file I don't think we're going to see any. And that's only if you have extreme highlight recovery. But what I mean by extreme is, even if let me just show you something quickly. So we'll just go to essentials here. So even if I was to bring down the highlights on this, I'm not having a problem. Well, actually you can see I have a slight little problem here, in that I'm getting some purple in the highlights. This seems to be an issue. I'm not sure whether the issue is with X-Transformer or with Luminar, but you're getting it in other software as well, so it's more than likely something with X-Transformer. So that's just something to be aware of. It's only when you clip beyond a certain point, so I'm recovering up to 50% here before it starts to creep in. You just have to kind of be aware of that. Like I said, it's only on extreme highlight recovery. Other than that, you don't really get it. Okay, so I'm going to start here just with the basics. I could pick a preset, so I have some of my own presets here that I've been working on over the time that I've been using this, so I could do something like this, for example, and that's not bad even at that. However, I am going to start again and just let's just wing it and see what we can do. Okay, so I'm going to start with the boost. Okay, and that's pretty good straight away, and then we'll just increase the contrast a bit. And again, we'll bring the highlights down. Again, we're watching to make sure we don't get that clipping, and I can turn on the clipping warning. Just bring it back. Okay, so that's not too bad. We'll just bring up the vibrance a bit. And the blacks. Bring up the shadows. So we're just starting with the basics, and then we'll work on it. A bit more clarity. Okay. Now the one thing I do want to add here is I want to add some sharpening, because I've sent the file over. When I baked this in, I did it with no sharpening in it. So we just need a small amount of sharpening. The sharpening in Luminar is quite good when you're using the DNGs processed. So you probably can't make this out on the video, but that's actually pretty clean file. The funny thing is, the one thing I've noticed about this, and I'm not sure why this is the case, some people have noticed that when they're using X-Transformer and they're using the DNGs, they get some weird kind of patterny noise in like areas of grey and whatnot. And I have seen that a bit in Lightroom as well. However, when you use the DNGs in other applications, it's not there. So it obviously seems to be, it's not actually whatever's going on when you convert the files in X-Transformer. It seems to be an issue with Lightroom itself. I don't know why this is the case, because I can't really say how it should make a difference, but it's obviously something in Lightroom's sharpening algorithm that's doing it, because you're not getting it here, and I'm sharpening this quite a bit. So I don't know. It's weird. This was with the 18-55, and I actually found that lens a little bit soft. It was also quite dark at this stage, but it's turning up quite well. And let me just zoom back out here anyway, so we get on with this. Okay, so let me add a few more things, and we will start by details enhancer. Now, I just want to say at this stage as well, is I haven't practiced on this before, so I'm just making this up as I go along. One of the things I love about this application is it's quite open to experimentation, and you can play around with it and get quite a lot of interesting ideas going, and then sometimes you'll take it too far and you have to start again. But I found the whole way the interface is laid out and the way you work by adding, I think they call them filters. It's quite a nice way to work. It's quite a nice way to experiment with. If you're working really fast and you need to just quickly do things, maybe it's probably not the best, but I really like it. And I'm just going to keep kind of playing around here and until we get something that I'm happy with. I've just added the golden hour filter, and this is probably way too much. Although it is doing a nice effect on the sky here. I actually kind of like that. That's actually not bad. I think if you turn the saturation down a little bit, it's probably even better. Again, we don't want to go too far with this. Just see. This is kind of adding a bit of warmth to the image in the distance. Quite nice. We'll keep it low. I don't want to overdo it. And I'd like to keep the Orton effect down the bottom. Okay, so if I look at our before and after, so there's the before and there's the after. So straight away, even at that, that's pretty good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add another layer. So I kind of like that as kind of my base level. So I'm going to add another layer. It's a new adjustment layer. And this will start. We'll add a few more things and see how we get on. Just to say as well, I'm taking this probably a bit further than I would take it normally, simply because I'm trying to demonstrate it. So, but I'm going to try and make sure that I keep it reasonably natural looking as well, or something that I would use without going too far with it. So again, if we go back to our original, there's our original and there's our processed version. And when we send this back to Lightroom, we can actually do a bit more tweaking to it anyway if we need to. So I'm just going to hit apply. Okay, so now it's processed out and we're back in Lightroom. So I just want to do a few more quick fixes to this. So I'm just going to straighten the image. And just a teeny bit of clarity. Now again, the reason I'm doing this back in here is for no particular reason. It's just sometimes a lot of this is experimentation and kind of playing around. Sometimes I'll get comments from people, well, why don't you do it this way or why don't you do it that way? And, you know, a lot of the time it's trial and error, it's experimentation, and you do it a certain way because that's just the way you do it. It's as simple as that, really, at the end of the day. So, I'm kind of happy with the results. Again, I could have done this with something else. So, like, here's the one I did in Lightroom. It's different. It's not the same. Neither is. I wouldn't necessarily say one's right and one's wrong. This is kind of more dramatic. If anything, it's probably maybe a little over processed. I might have overdone it a bit. So anyway, that's just giving you a quick look at how to use Luminar in conjunction with Iridient X-Transformer when processing files from a Fuji camera, and I used Lightroom as well. Okay, so I hope you found this useful. I kind of know it's kind of rambling a bit, but I think there's some useful information in there, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.